What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to give you guys my post-game thoughts on the Falcons' first preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at JewTalkSports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ JewTalkSports. And if you'd like to be a part of my JewTalkSports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So yesterday, the Falcons did play their first preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. We did come out with our first victory of the preseason, so we now sit at 1-0. And I was really impressed with our first preseason game. The Falcons didn't play any of their starters for the most part. Logan Woodside actually got the start, which is our third string quarterback, and he played pretty well in the game. The first thing that actually stood out to me during this football game was the trenches. Atlanta Falcons did dominate the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. We did a good job of stopping the run. Guys like Timmy Horn did a good job at that nose position of being very disruptive on that defensive line. Arnold Ebiketie had a strip sack fumble. Zach Harrison, the rookie out of Ohio State, he played really well at setting the edge, and he had a couple tackles for loss in the backfield against the running back of the opposing Miami Dolphins. But it was a really good showing for our Atlanta Falcons, especially on the defensive side of the ball and in the trenches. For the most part, you guys know that our identity for this Atlanta Falcons team and the ethos, as Terry Fontenot has continuously talked about, both him and Arthur Smith, is that we want to dominate in the trenches. And we've seen that last night. I was really impressed because a lot of the guys that were out there possibly won't make this Atlanta Falcons team, but just to see how well on defense, Ryan Nielsen and Jerry Gray, all of those guys on that defensive staff, they've done a great job at building this defense, and those guys were on a string last night. It was a couple times in the red zone where the Dolphins went for it, and we were able to stop them. Pretty much every time they got down there in the red zone, we were able to stop them. Breon Borders came away with an interception for a touchdown, a pick six. Helms came down, DeMarco Helms came down with an interception in the red zone early in the game in the first drive. But guys made plays all night long. I mean, I was really impressed. For this to be the first preseason game, we pretty much beat them at every phase of the football game. Offense, defense, special teams. D. Alford came away with basically a punt return for a touchdown, which was really sealed the game for the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, because for the longest time it was 6-0 until we had that punt return for a touchdown by D. Alford. He played really well last night, and he could end up being the punt returner this season for our Atlanta Falcons. But D. Alford is one of those guys that's a playmaker, and he showed you last night why I feel like he has a chance to be a special player in this league, is because every time he's out there on the field, whether it's at that defensive back position, now he's playing special teams with returning punts, and was able to do that. That guy's just a great athlete and a great player, and he continues to grind and work at his craft. So I was really impressed. The only thing that I think was a little bit concerning last night, or the only thing in the game that we have to clean up for the most part, was Younghoe Koo missed 2 out of his 3 extra points, which is unlike him. Normally he's a guy that's automatic as far as kicking field goals and things of that nature, and especially kicking extra points. He missed 2 of his extra point kicks last night. But other than that, it was a really clean game. Wasn't a lot of turnovers as far as on our team. We didn't have any fumbles. We didn't have throw any interceptions to the opposing team. So it was a game where we won the turnover battle. I believe we won it 4-0 because we had 3 interceptions in the game, and also one forced fumble in the game. But like I said, it was a total domination by this Atlanta Falcons team. I was super impressed on the offensive side of the ball as well. We controlled the trenches by running the football, which is the identity of this team. And we did it without guys like Bijan Robinson, CP, and Tyler Algier. We had the fourth and fifth string running backs out there. Both Winston, Iwebuike, he did a good job of running the ball last night for us, who we brought in from the Seattle Seahawks. He ran the ball hard, and he did a good job of going downhill. He had a one touchdown in the game. And also Carlos Washington, a guy that they brought in this offseason as well, which I believe he's an undrafted player as well. He also ran the ball hard. Both of those guys did a good job of going north and south, one cut and going downhill. Our offensive line, even though we had backups in the game, those guys did a good job of opening holes on the offensive line and allowing those guys to get downhill. But like I said, it was just a total domination. As far as the wide receivers, guys, when they got their opportunities, for the most part, stepped up. A couple catches. I believe it was like a 20-yard post route by J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who is a guy that I'm definitely going to be watching to see if he could possibly, he's one of those guys that'll be on the bubble to possibly make this team. Josh Ali, he had an opportunity to make a big play down the field, and it was a perfect pass by Logan Woodside, but he dropped it. But he did make a couple other catches throughout the game. Scotty Miller played early in the game, and I believe he had one or two catches as well. And Frank Darby, they stated, I believe he had like a soft tissue injury is what Coach Arthur Smith stated. I was looking forward to seeing him out there because he's been playing really well at camp. But we didn't see a whole lot of Frank Darby like after the first couple drives in the game. So I definitely was impressed, like I said, with this game. The only thing that I say the Falcons need to clean up is the tackling. In this game, I knew that because we don't tackle in training camp and you really can't bring guys to the ground at practice, I was looking to see how well we tackled. And we did a good job, like I said, of stopping the run, but it was times where the tackling got a little bit sloppy. So that's something that I definitely will be paying attention to the next two preseason games as we head into week one against the Panthers. Just want to see these guys get a little bit better at cleaning up the tackling. But for the most part, as far as guys understanding where they need to be, as far as the scheme, I was really impressed with Ryan Nielsen and his scheme. Guys seemed like there weren't any like blown coverages in the secondary. The defense was playing tight in the secondary, and linebackers, everybody knew where they needed to be. We really didn't see any wide receivers running wide open, and that tells me that these guys are understanding what Ryan Nielsen is teaching. And I think that this coaching staff definitely deserves like an A+ as far as the way that they're bringing these guys along, because you could tell guys understand what they need to do. Even guys like DeMarco Hellams, who's a rookie. Yesterday, I really didn't see anybody, like I said, running wide open. I really didn't see a whole lot of blown coverages. We didn't see a lot of pass interference and things of that nature. So that tells me that those guys understand the scheme. Those guys are out there on the string. They understand their assignments of 1 of 11, meaning all guys doing their job and doing it well. So with that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to our next preseason game to see if this carries over, and to see, because it did show up yesterday that this Falcons team, as I keep talking about depth, that this team is really, really deep. Just watching last night's game, to me, the Dolphins don't really look like a really deep team, or as deep as our Atlanta Falcons as far as talent goes. And I really feel, as I kept stating throughout this offseason, that it's going to be a really hard 53-man roster to make for our Atlanta Falcons. There's going to be a lot of good football players that we're going to have to cut, because last night, just looking out there on the field, even with us, not having our starters out there and most of our second string players not playing as well, we still look like we had a lot of talent out there on the field that could be playing on other NFL rosters. So I definitely think that even just the depth piece of this team, it looks like we have a lot of depth on this team, a lot of talent on this team. And I really think that this is going to be a really, really good Falcons team. But you guys know, I feel like everything begins and ends in the trenches. And I was really, really impressed with the way that The offensive line played. We didn't see a lot of sacks on the quarterback. We didn't see a whole lot of pressure being put on the quarterback. For the most part, they did a good job of pass protecting and run blocking. And I was really impressed with the defensive line. I believe we had about 4 or 5 sacks in the game. The defensive line did a good job of putting pressure on the quarterback, and they did a good job of stopping the run. Like, there was times where it was 3rd and 20. You know, it was times where they were putting the offense of the Miami Dolphins behind the 8 ball. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on our first preseason game. Like I said, I was really, really impressed with how clean the game was. Usually in preseason, you'll see a lot of penalties. You'll see a lot of blown coverages because you have a lot of guys out there that's trying to make the team. But yesterday, it just goes to show how good or how well this coaching staff is at teaching their scheme, because guys were on point. Guys looked like it was week 1 of the regular season. So with that being said, this being your boy Jew, I have a lot more content coming for you guys. It's always Falcons Nation. Rise up. Be blessed. Peace.